Hey guys, this is some tips that in my opinion will help people that are new to PvP, want to get into PvP, or for people who want to improve on their existing skills and be a better player in the PvP environment that New World provides. This video is mainly for open world PvP and Outpost Rush, although some of this can transition over to Wars as well. Tip number 1, Consumables. Your consumables are going to set you apart from other players early on. For your pots, one thing that I found that helped me is knowing that the health and mana pots and the health and mana regeneration pots are on a separate cooldown. Knowing this will help you with maintaining your health more frequently. As for food, there are two types. The first is travel rations, which recovers X amount of health over 20 seconds, but can be interrupted by damage. You can use this food as frequent as you like. A good tip is to make use of your surroundings, prone, and LOS. Prone removes the icon from above your head, so if you can find a sneaky place to LOS and prone to recover your health with your travel rations, you will have time to recover without getting hit by your opponent. The second is your buff food. This will increase your main stat or a mix of a primary and secondary stat by an X amount for 35 minutes. An example of these are on screen. Primary stat food is a tier 2 food in cooking, and mixed stat food is a tier 3 stat food in cooking. So you'll need a couple of levels before having these. Why these are important is a no-brainer. More stats equals more damage, defenses, or heals depending on what your build is. Tip number 2, weapon choices. Your weapon choices will define how you play as a PvP player in New World. For example, Hatchet and Great Axe is a very in-your-face, heavy damage type of playstyle, where something like bow and spear is more of a combination of melee CC and range type playstyles. What you choose has to feel comfortable to you, so then you enjoy it and want to get better with it. The weapons you have chosen have to work well with each other and have a good balance of survivability and damage. Deciding this will be your first step to mastering your weapons and becoming a better PvP player. Tip number 3, understanding your build. Knowing and understanding your build is really important. There's a lot of people, including myself, when I first started PvPing, that would just find a build, whether it's on YouTube or from some other source, and put all the points in the right places and just get out there and try it without reading too much into the build. This can be good to learn the basics of the build in the short term, but taking the time to read and understand what skills you have, and which ones are good combos to use in certain situations, what passives you have, and how they interact with your skills, light attacks and heavy attacks are important to know, and the more you understand, the better you will be. So make sure that you take the time to really read and understand your build. Tip number 4, understanding your build's strengths and weaknesses. Understanding your strengths and your weaknesses are detrimental to your survival as a PvP player. If you know what counters you and your ability, you'll be able to play around your counters better. For example, if you're a Fire Staff Rapier build, which is highly mobile and reliant on your skills that keep you moving and enabling you to decide when you want to be in melee range, and you're up against a Hatchet Great Axe, which is great for running down their opponent and locking them down with the CC Gravity Well on the Great Axe, keeping your distance is going to be your best ally. So keeping one of your ability skills in your back pocket that can get you out of Gravity Well will be a huge advantage for you, rather than using both of your mobility spells early and then your opponent taking advantage of that and using Gravity Well to CC you and burst you down while you have nothing to get out of it. By doing this, you will make one of their strongest CC abilities void. This brings me to my next point. Tip number 5, understanding your opponent's build, their strengths and weaknesses. This will come naturally the more builds you explore as a PvP player. If you aren't one to stray away from your own build, then consider looking into popular builds on YouTube or other sources that will help you understand your opponents, their builds, and weapon skills. Having a better idea of your opponent's skills, strengths, and weaknesses will allow you to play around their weakness a bit more to give you more opportunities to avoid or deal damage. Tip number 6, dodging. Knowing how and when to dodge is a fantastic advantage to have against your opponent. This is something that is very situational and will improve the better you become as a PvP player. How you decide whether or not to dodge is an art. For example, if you know they're using a weaker ability against you and they have their CDs and heavy hitting abilities coming up, taking the weaker hit instead of dodging may be a better option here. Saving the dodge for a more impactful time when they blast some CDs or go for a heavy hitting attack will save you a lot of stamina and keep you on top of the fight. So basically what to take from this is you don't want to be caught with no dodges when they have all their damage ready. Tip number 7, using LOS. We touched on this a little bit earlier when we were talking about consumables, but New World has a lot of opportunities to LOS, and it is a great tool for a multitude of reasons. You can force your opponent to get closer to you, you can use it as a way to recover health without being interrupted, and you can use it to wait out your CDs and come out swinging. So keep an eye out on your surroundings and use them. Tip number 8, player skill animation. Player animations are one thing that will set you apart from other players. Understanding how long certain animations will take give you a good understanding of what you can do before the said animation is completed. This is for all animations, big or small, whether it's a skill, a light attack, a heavy attack, a dodge, or how long it takes for a player to switch direction. Knowing these things will help you better time your skills, light attacks, heavy attacks, and so on. Tip number 9, analyzing why you died. This is something I didn't do for a very long time, but now being a content creator, I've had more footage that I can go over and analyze. Recording yourself playing and analyzing what you may have done differently, or what mistake you have made in a particular fight to lead up to your death, will help you a lot more than what you would think. A lot of the time you get caught up in the fight or tunnel vision and stop thinking smart and start thinking kill, kill, kill. Knowing when you do this type of stuff and what you could have done better to prevent your death is a massive thing, and you'd be surprised how much it will improve you just from this point alone. Lastly, tip number 10, outskilling. If you're playing against your direct counter or you're their direct counter, always play like you're at a disadvantage. This mindset has helped me so much, and hopefully it will help you as well. Basically, what I'm saying here is in New World, you can outskill your opponent in the right circumstances, and the build they play doesn't make the player good. The skill of the player does. So get out there, try and get some fights in, and use these to your advantage. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and learned at least one new thing that you didn't already know about PvP as a whole. If there's anything you want more detail on or would like to see in future, just let me know in the comments below. Thanks guys, see you in the next one.